Welcome to today's video. Today I want to take some time to answer a viewer question that I got from my Facebook group. And I know I actually promised that person this video a while ago, but now I'm going to start making more of these videos where I answer some of your questions. Okay? So I'll put it up on the screen right now. The question is this: Dear Sunny, I'm following you for quite some time now, and I really appreciate your gracious work. Maybe you can help me with something I kind of trip over a lot: being the observer versus being fully involved. I understand and feel that I am the watcher, the observer of everything that happens in my experience. I start to understand and experience the freedom that goes with that. But sometimes that makes me feel disconnected, like the contrary of being involved. What irritates me is that observing makes me, to take a simple picture, the guy in the disco that doesn't dance but sits on the side. Hell, I know that this must be a misunderstanding in my thinking mind, but it still bugs me for quite some time. For years, to be honest. Do you have any advice, picture, help for me? How can I be the observer and be totally involved? How can I be intimate with experience and still completely free? Thanks, friend. I appreciate what you do a lot. This is a very, very good question that comes up for everybody. So that's why I also felt it was important to make a video about this. Being the watcher versus being totally involved. You will see that your understanding of this very thing that we're talking about today, it matures over time. It is seen clearly and clearly more and more over time as you practice. And as you begin the practice, these two things seem contradictory to each other, like they're opposing each other. But as you practice, it is seen that they are not in opposition of each other. See, even now, even when you are totally immersed in experience, do you ever stop essentially being what you are? Are you ever not the observer of experience? You may not acknowledge your true position, but do you ever actually stop being the observer? First and foremost, see this clearly. Right? It is the immersion in experience that makes you forget the essential fact that you are still the observer, even while immersed. While immersed, you take yourself to be this and that. You take up all these mental positions which you start to come from. You start to see from, right? You're seeing, you're clear seeing, the observer, right? That becomes diluted by these mental perspectives which you just start to see from. That's what we call mind identification. That's a state of immersion in experience, taking yourself to be an object of awareness. But you still have to ask yourself, do you still stop being the true observer of even that? Because then you come here and tell me, right? You come here and mention to me that when I'm immersed, I seem to have totally, I can't be the observer and whatnot. But is this also not being observed from that deeper knowing, which you essentially already are looking from? Even to know this, right? From which essential place, from which essential knowing, awareness, are you seeing even immersion versus remembrance? You see? So this is always an interesting conversation, and no matter how clearly I describe it to you, it's something you're going to have to learn and mature through your own experience with. But it will become more and more clear to you how to do it. I actually just had a conversation about this yesterday on a call that I did for my program members, because this topic often comes up a lot. And I want you to see it like this. When you begin this process, when you begin this practice, you are in a state of total immersion, right? You misplace your sense of what is real. All the thoughts, images, emotions, feelings, perceptions, experience that feels so real, right? The contents of this moment, which feels so real, they are borrowing their beingness from you. They are, being on rental. Why? Because they come and go. They are only deemed real for this very moment, right? The contents of the past are not considered important. Like they don't have a sense of realness. They don't have the stamp of reality because, there's just something that's like no longer real about them. Even the contents of the future, they seem like not real. But the contents that are here now, what makes them different? It's because you, what is essentially real, is not in past or future. You are here now. And as long as you continue to take yourself as an object of awareness, of the seeing, which you are, then you will continue to have this dilemma between immersion versus observation, involvement versus observation. Because this one, right, this person that feels like it is immersed or it is observing, this one is the one we also must bring under our observation and see clearly that it is simply just another mental layer, another mental position, which is also under our seeing. So you begin this process as that total immersion, total unconsciousness of your true nature, of the observing factor element. And then you're going through the spiritual practice more and more, and you're practicing being aware of being aware. And in this period, right, there's this battle between involvement and immersion and observation. And this is the necessary phase you must go through, and you must see clearly what I'm describing, that even when you find yourself immersed, still you never essentially stop being what you are. And that gives it a quality of like a sense of fearlessness. When you usually encounter these teachings, now there's a great fear of being unconscious. There's a great fear of being in totally involved. But now you start to see that even while truly fully involved, you never really give up your true nature. You never stop being what you are. And even if this is deemed very, very, like the content of this moment is deemed very, very real in this moment, in a very moment of remembering yourself as you really are, it loses that sort of pull over you. You see? So you start to, through this, mature in your seeing. And you stop being even afraid of being involved, which brings you into the next stage, right? Which is the ability to be fully involved without any attachment or identification or belief in what is appearing as the ultimate truth. Because you see, that's how people live, right? People live as if the world that is experienced is more real than themselves. They constantly misplace their sense of what is real. They misplace their true position. They misplace their stamp of reality. They give it to the contents of this moment. And because we give them reality over ourselves, we kind of almost assume this victim identity. Whereas, so that's a state of total identification, attachment, belief in what is appearing and disappearing as what is real. But upon investigation, upon practicing the teaching as we describe on this channel, you come to a place of having a deeper self-knowledge, you see? A deeper self-knowledge which doesn't fade away. A deeper self-knowledge with which you are able to become completely involved, feel to the fullest happiness and sadness, positive and negative, pleasant and unpleasant. You're able to feel to the fullest, experience to the fullest, without a sense of attaching yourself to it, without a sense of identifying yourself with it, without a sense of believing in its reality over your own. And that is a state of total freedom, you see. So this phase you're going through is totally natural, but this is what you must come to see more and more clearly, that even in total involvement, it is the seeing of that total involvement which is essentially what you are even then. And you do not stop being yourself, ever. And through it, right, you will allow yourself to become totally involved. You will allow yourself to become, right, the thinker and the feeler and the perceiver. But it will not be in the same way, right? Now this is a sense of new automatic. So I always say when you're totally unconscious, it's just you're living on automatic, right? But in an unconscious way, totally blind to your true nature. You start going through the spiritual teachings and everything like that, so you start becoming really like, now you feel like you have to control everything, and you're going through the stage of really integrating the teaching and everything. And it's a sense of control almost. You feel like you have to make an effort to be aware. But then as you continue to go, as you continue to mature in the teaching, it's again another state of automatic. But this automatic is in a totally different way, where you don't misplace your sense of identity, your sense of self. You see, now you're able to fully involve yourself in the world, yet not take yourself to be of the world. And that is the beautiful aspect of it. So continue with the inquiry, continue to, again and again, right, practice, continue to have this battle of immersion versus observation if you must. Let that happen too. But understand that ultimately you never stop being what you truly are. I hope this video helped you. I just want to make a quick announcement that this upcoming January 2nd and January 3rd, I am hosting my first online live retreat. It's going to be a 2-day event, and we're going to be going deeply exploring into the topics of acceptance and self-inquiry. So I'll post the details on it on my website. I'll put the link down in the description box below. Make sure to go check it out. Read all the details in the description about the event. Okay, it's going to be like a little mini retreat, and it's going to be an intimate, close group. So if you want to attend, definitely just go check it out and sign up if you wish. Okay, so I hope to see you there. I hope this video added great value to you. Have a great rest of your day.